Happy New Year to you. This is the very first edition of your favorite current affairs program, 60 Minutes Nigeria. Year 2022 promises to be successful. My name is Egosa Agbonlao, and we are looking at a very, very crucial topic today, one of national interest, because so many persons are of the opinion that this year, 2022, will be a year of politicking ahead of the general elections for 2023, which is next year. And so a lot of things will happen this year. Definitely will go around politics. And so that's what we're looking at, the expectations for the political scene this year. I have with me very distinguished personalities. Let me introduce a popular face on the program, a very, very eminent clergyman and a commentator, Dr. Emeka Ekuga. Nice to have you with us today.
Thank you, Agbonlao. Happy New Year.
Okay.
Nigerians is well with you.
We have a very highly respected legal practitioner and, of course, voice of the women in Edo State, Barrister Edugo Webo. It's nice to have you today.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
Okay. We also have with us Mr. Osazuwa Iwaze is a seasoned journalist and, of course, political analyst. Nice to have you with us today.
Thank you very much. Happy New Year.
Okay, so, like I said, we're looking at the political scene, expectations for the political scene in year 2022. Only recently, Mr. President has had a very an interview with a station which is being serialized now, and it's talking about a lot of issues. The issue of no need for state police, the issue of is ready to sign the electoral bill if the indirect primaries clause is inserted, consensus candidate is inserted. This is against the normal New Year broadcast. That's another style. But the issue is the president has spoken. So that's to tell you that Nigerians will surely be involved with a lot of politicking this year. But my guest will expatiate on this topic. Let's start with Dr. Emeka Ekuga. Now, looking at year 2022, do you think Nigerians should begin to think differently from the way they used to do things? For instance, before now, the voters are accused of accepting money to vote, which is cash inducement. It has become a norm among the electorate. And after election, some now cry. But they have a fault. You think the people should begin to think differently?
Yeah. Looking at 2022 politicking, I think by the grace of God, we will get it right this time.
Okay.
You know, there is this adage when you are in the darkness for so long, you will begin to see. And the way Nigerians have been playing politics in the past has taught us a lot of lessons. To me as a person, I don't think there is any regret because I've learned so many things. The time politicians, those who are vying for one particular position or the other, will now come and start using money to induce people to vote for them. I think that time is over. I am looking at Nigerians that will stand and said, we've suffered for so long. This time around, whomever is qualified to be in a particular office should be allowed to be in a particular office with our votes.
Okay.
And there is another area I want to come in from. That is in the general now. Nigerians have deceived Nigerians a lot. The lies and the propagandas has been a thing that sometimes we don't even know exactly what else to do. You know, when it gets close to election, you see different kind of promises. You will see the government on board will come up and said they have conquered terrorism, they have conquered the Boko Haram, they have done this, they have done that, and they will promise in the next 2 days you will not hear anything about insecurity anymore. most importantly. But this time around, I think we should hold them strong and they look forward to hear them say the truth. If they don't tell us the truth on their report cards, I think Nigerians will be able to stand and say, this one you are projecting is not qualified to be there, because a goat cannot give birth to a donkey. A goat must give birth to a donkey. If you didn't perform well and you want to kind of project somebody for Nigerians to be accepted to rule the country or to lead in one way or the other, your report card is not, has nothing to do, is not good enough when being assessed. Anybody you bring in into the politicking in 2022 stroke 23 general election will not be accepted in Nigeria. And we are going to make sure, personally I'm going to make sure I will mobilize, I will campaign to the ending point without looking at anybody's face. In every aspect, God has given me grace to do it. So what I'm trying to say, what we are looking at the government on ground now, whether PDP in the state, whether APC in the federal, truth. If they don't tell us the truth, we will not look at the party, we'll look at individuals. And I think what brought in Buhari in the first and even second was, as in the first was individual. We didn't look at the party. People that voted him in, I didn't vote anyway, did not look at him as a party, a member of APC, yes, or whatever. They looked at him as a man whom they hold to a high esteem. They look at him as a man who they can trust. But unfortunately, I repeat, unfortunately, it wasn't what they bargained. It wasn't what they bargained.
Okay, that's a discussion for another day.
Yes, so we are looking at truth this time around.
Okay.
If you are coming in, you should tell us this is what has happened.
Yes.
This is what we're able to achieve.
Yes.
We will hold on this report card to know how we can be able to assess, who will be able to manage the affairs of this country. I said something here some time ago when we were also in this platform. Okay. I said this time around, you cannot carry a farmer to say lead a country as a Nigeria. You can't make a headway. There is no way you can succeed. You must be ready to know much about economics. You must be ready to know much about accounting. You must be ready to have knowledge of leadership. It's not rulership. That is different between leadership and rulership. Nigeria are bigger than being ruled. Nigeria today need leadership. And before Nigeria is to be led to a permanent site or a promised land, who is leading must be godly. Who is leading must be fearful. Who is leading must assume the office of a servant. Who will be able to listen. If you are being criticized, you will not turn it against. You won't take it personal. You will learn from it. Expectations of Nigerians starting from me are much. Very much. Very elaborate. If you are not honest, even God will not allow you to live on that day to enter that office.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Emeka. I can see that he's very emotional. That's to tell you that that's exactly the way Nigerians are. Nigerians are so perturbed about the dwindling economy, about the dwindling fortunes, and even the governor of Edo State recently was in the news when he said that the political elite failed the country and that the doldrum that Nigeria has found itself is as a result of the failure of the political class. That's the governor who made that comment, and that was part of a topic we discussed last year, but it's a part of what we'll talk about today. Okay, let's also get, before we allow Pastor Begbe to talk, let's also get Mr. Osazuwa Ivaze to give his own comment. Now, expectations are high. What's your take?
Well, I wish I could be persuaded by your optimism.
Okay.
To believe that things will be better. However, my optimism is abridged. It's abridged because fundamentally, I do not envision any departure from what we have been doing.
In the new year?
Yes.
Okay, how do you mean?
Wait, I'm
okay.
coming.
Yes.
If you have been monitoring political events in the political space,
okay.
If you have been following conversations, if you have been following utterances of politicians, you will discover that no lesson has been learned. Geopolitical calculations, ethno-religious cleavages are pushing the polity. And where these things conspire to push the polity, you can never get the best. I think what we are going to actually hammer on this year is to impress it on Nigerians to know what they expect from government. Chapter 2 of the Nigerian Constitution, under fundamental objectives and directives principles of state policy, the fundamental obligations of governments are very clear.
Okay.
If only Nigerians know that government owes them these socio, economic, political, and security obligations, even though they are not actionable and legally enforceable in court, the government will be a little bit circumspect and careful in dealing with the people. For example, let me give you some sections of this constitution which imposes serious obligations on government.
Okay.
Now, section 14, subsection 2B of the constitution states as follows: the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary responsibility of government. Emphasis, primary responsibility, not secondary responsibility, not tertiary responsibility. Primary simply means the foundation, the beginning, the genesis. If government fails in that angle, fails at that basis, that government has no legitimacy. That government has collapsed. I want to ask us a question.
Okay.
What is the security situation in this country today? And government owes us a responsibility to give us security and welfare. That is section 42B of the Constitution. And we are not asking questions. Some people have taken it upon themselves to defend government actions for partisan reasons. Looking at Nigerian politics from a very narrow-minded ethno-political perspective, they don't want to question. In fact, we should develop a questioning attitude towards those in power, rather than defending the defended.
How do we do that?
Yes, we should begin to task government on its obligations in the Constitution. There are other areas you will be interested in.
Okay.
You have section 16, subsection 2. The state shall direct its policy to the promotion and balanced economic development. What is balanced economic development? Balanced economic development simply means that all areas in the country, not a sectional part of the country, should have a fair share of the national cake. In terms of infrastructure,
okay,
in terms of distribution of political opportunities, okay, or employment opportunities.
Yes.
You balance. Is that not what we have? Is that what we have today? If you look at what is happening in Nigeria today, there are some sections of this country that are shortchanged, which is an abuse of this provision of the Constitution. Another section, which is section 16, subsection A, B now, is that the economy of this country shall be arranged in such a way as not to concentrate the wealth of this country in a few hands. Where is the wealth of this country? In fact, the government is operating in breach of the Constitution. Whenever I read the fundamental objectives are contained in this aspect of the Constitution, I just tell politicians, you don't need manifesto. This is a moral and political and legal compass for you to operate. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, Nigerians are not asking questions. We should begin to ask questions and begin to task leadership to do the needful. Let me tell you something. Do you know that Nigerian Constitution makes provision for social safety net and social safety valve for the weak, for the vulnerable, for the elderly, for the sick. That section is section 16, subsection D in the Constitution. And let me read it to you. The government shall provide suitable and adequate shelter, old age care, pension, unemployment benefits, and for the age, unemployment benefit and for the age.
Okay.
Now, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
How many Nigerians are dying on daily basis as a result of inability of government to pay gratuity? People who are put in 35 years in service find it difficult to get their 1 naira at the end of the month. Not to talk about gratuity. But a governor who has served only 8 years is entitled to billions of naira retirement gratuity. Is that not wickedness? If there is a hotter place in hell, it is reserved for some politicians in this country. If there is a special place. Because this is sheer wickedness.
Yes.
Because the Constitution has made it mandatory for you to provide social safety valve for the weak, for the vulnerable. You are not doing it. Even though you know that that is the Constitution you have sworn to defend and uphold. You are not doing it. And we are not asking questions.
Okay.
This year,
Yes.
if we are serious, we should begin to ask questions. But my friend said monetization of policy should be ignored. He said we should reject money. Let me tell you what the politicians have done. They have used stolen resources from the state to run the poor ground, to make it impossible for them to ask questions. Because if they are able to ask questions, there will be competitiveness, and that competitiveness gives them the leverage to demand mandatory accountability from those in power. But they have used poverty to weaken the voice of the masses. I stop so far.
Okay, we'll come to you. Like I said, Mr. Sazuwa Ibaze is a veteran journalist, and you can see that he's actually talking from experience because he's been able to cover a lot of political activities. But the main point that I think that our viewers should look at in all that they have said is that this year, Nigerians should be prepared to ask questions. And he said they must tax government, they must tax public officers, they must ensure that they are accountable. And I think that is one very, very crucial issue that we can actually take out of what he has said from the so many factors he has been able to posit on the program. So let's get the view of a legal practitioner, Barrister Edogo Eboigbe. Now, looking at expectations in the political scene this year. Now, my guests have been able to make their points. Some have been able to identify failure of government. So, what's your own take?
Okay. I don't know if I can correct a misplaced idea.
Please, go ahead.
Provisions under the Constitution, under Chapter 2, which is the fundamental objectives and directive principles of government, have been ousted from being applicable in Nigeria. Section 6, subsection 6, sub C, says that those sections of the law are not justiciable.
Yeah. That's right.
The issue of healthcare, the issue of security, the issue of infrastructure, it cannot be justified in a court of law. It's the objective of government, they aim to do it, but these are aspects of the law that cannot be enforced under a court of law.
Okay.
Over the years, Nigerians come out to vote. We have always been making one mistake.
Okay.
The mistake is that the integrity of our elections in Nigeria has been greatly vitiated.
That's right.
The process of choosing our leaders is misnomer.
That's right.
At the end of the day, the wishes of the people, the directives of the people is never actualized. And then this has created a scene whereby the people come out to vote.
Yes.
They give them the false impression that they have the powers to decide their leaders. But at the end of the day, what do we see playing out? We are in the 21st century. And we still have manual means of what? Transmitting electoral results. What happened to electronic means of transmitting electoral results? If you want elections to be free and fair, 80% of Nigerians can use their handset. They can use a mobile phone. make elections open to be done either electronic way or manually, so that all Nigerians, as it's being done, results are being shown, all Nigerians, we see that their wishes are being adhered to. When you have a continuous system whereby days of election they come, they shoot gun, people run away, people are afraid, they stay at home.
Yes.
The wishes of the people can never be achieved, and that was what has led us to the ugly situation we are presently tackling in Nigeria. We are suffering extreme rates of insecurity. In Benin today, majority of families could not travel to their hometown to enjoy the Christmas period because of extreme levels of insecurity. The hardship, the hunger, the endemic unemployment bedeviling this country today are all failures of the Nigerian system to adhere towards a true democratic system of government. Youth graduate, no employment. Inflation rate is ×2. And we are even threatening to do it further by increasing the price of fuel. Nigerians are not finding life easy anymore. And the hardship is gradually turning young individuals with shallow minds into criminalism. And you have crimes committed at different levels. We must go back to the drawing board. If the government wants to be sincere, let us have electronic means of voting. Let us vote and see that our votes are being cast, are being adhered to. When the people, when the leaders, when the political leaders now know that it's no longer a show of wealth and power, and that electorate are interested in their integrity and what they can do, they will be forced to change and do the right thing until we go back to the drawing board and get a sustainable and effective means of actualizing credible elections in Nigeria. It's going to be a far cry.
Okay.
Saying we are going to change from the present situation of hunger, hardship, poverty, extreme insecurity to a better situation.
Okay, but before I let you go, Barrister Duwowo, now what you've talked about now is under the Electoral Amendment Bill, which was sent back to the National Assembly by Mr. President. And he gave reasons for not assenting to that bill. And even in the recent interview now, he said it, that the indirect primaries must be inserted. He's against direct primaries.
Direct primary.
So, do you concur with the president, with Mr. President, for not assenting to that bill?
As an individual,
yes.
Democracy is supposed to be government of the people, by the people, and for the people.
Yes.
Direct primaries, the people, they know who will do them well at the grassroots level. They know the person that will represent them well at the grassroots level.
Yes.
By the time you remove it from direct primaries, you are taking it over again to those that have money. They will play the politics, they will come out with somebody. And at the end of the day, we continue to do the same thing over and over again. And life in Nigeria is becoming so difficult. Everybody is looking for how to bail out. Those that cannot bail out, you see 14 years, 15 years, 16 years, they are all going into different kinds of crime. These are fallouts of a failed democratic system. We cannot. Let us have direct primaries. The person I know that comes to my house to greet me, let me vote for him. And you will see that the situation will turn around.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. We'll come back to you. Well, Dr. Emeka Ikuga now. Yes, this year, so many people have expressed optimism. But the issue is, how do we get it right?
Well, earlier I told you that the only way we can be able to get out of this mess in this country is, number one, believing in yourself. Personally, I'll be going to vote, and I'm going to vote my conscience. Number two, the government themselves, like Barrister just said now, if the government can be annexed, the INEC can be annexed to themselves, I think we will not have any reason to get ourselves more entangled or worried. Because if people are set, everybody is ready, prepared. Because when it comes to election, you see everybody is out. People are out in our numbers. Yes. People are out in their numbers. And when they comes out, and their aims, their mindsets, their objectives are not what they see, we can't get it right. Barrister chipped in a very, very important angle of when you get to the polling unit and you say somebody comes out and starts shooting gun and people will start running here and there. This can be stopped earlier. You know, we suggested the issue of electronic voting in the past. I was thinking they're going to use Anambra State election as a test run. Even the Edo State election, I was thinking that we are going to use it as a test run. The INEC promised they're going to do this, they're going to do that.
INEC says they are ready, but they can do it.
At the end, whether it is the presidency or the National Assembly that are frustrating the effort, I cannot understand. My Oga said, ask questions this time around, speak out. If you talk to tomorrow and who is at the head of the affairs are not ready to listen to you, we can't get it right. So what I'm looking at, let God touch them to be on next. Let's go. Let Nigerians come up and pray towards this. I believe God still answers prayers. Let God touch them to be on next. If the House of Assembly in question, they can come up, if the House can come up and say, yes, we are standing for this, and the president says he's not going to sign it. I mean, they know what to do.
Are you suggesting that they can veto it?
Yes, the government is not for the president alone. Democracy for the people, by the people, for the people, and the what again? Of the people.
Yes.
So if everybody is not in agreement, I don't see how we can get it right. The federal government cannot just come up and say this is what they want. It's supposed not to work. It's not supposed to work. So my submission in this aspect is that honesty is what is required from every one of us. And if Nigerians can decide to say, anyone who is praying, like I said before, whomever want to come around again to bring punishment to this very country of ours, such one should receive a very spiritual and dynamic punishment from up. Let's come to that agreement. And people will begin to be afraid. And at the same time, I will also want to point out, when I talk about people not going to the field, are you with me, sir?
Yes, I'm
not
with you.
Going to the field to start collecting money to vote. We are selling our future. We are selling our tomorrow. They have paid you for what you requested for. So you can't stop them from doing whatever they want to do. That is why I said that area of inducing people with money should not come in. If there is anything that can be done about it, it should be done about it.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Emeka. We'll come back to you, but we'll take a brief break now. And after that, we'll be looking at other aspects of the topic for today. Okay, it's a delight to have you back on the program. It is 60 Minutes Nigeria, the very first edition for year 2022. My name is Ego Sagbolao. I have with me my guests. I have Mr. Sazua Iwaze, a veteran journalist and a political analyst as well. I have Edu Eboigbe with us, the voice of the women on the program. And of course, Dr. Emeka Ekuka is a clergyman and also a public commentator. Now let's get the comments of the veteran journalist in our midst. He's made some very valid points based on the Constitution, but the issue now is that this year so many Nigerians believe that there will be politicking. If you see the footage that was shown, that was the footage of the 2019 Edo State governorship election. You see the turnout of voters, and it is believed that it was the people who ensured that Mr. Godwin Obaseki is governor today. Now, it is also believed that when there's enthusiasm, when the people are carried along, when they believe that their vote will count, they will come out en masse and participate in any electoral process in this country. Of course, we are looking at 2023 already, which is the general election. President Muhammadu Buhari has assured Nigerians that he will retire to his farm in 2023. Mr. Sazua Ivaze. Now, the president has also said he will not disclose his preferred candidate, the candidate that he has in his mind. Does it count? What do we look at for?
Before I answer that question,
Yes.
I want to tell you something.
Okay.
We have not been able to get it right, or we are not getting it right, because the institutions that should sustain our democratic tradition,
Yes,
are very weak. The former United States of America President Donald Trump wanted to ruin American democracy. He was not checked by anybody, he was checked by the institutions. His antics, his conspiracy theories were checked by the solid democratic institutions that America has developed and evolved over the years. So, Nigeria has not started in building institutions. And we shall begin to build these institutions when we get it right at the level of leadership. The problem we have now is not absence of resources to grow this country. It's leadership deficit. That is our problem. Now, we have two major political parties in Nigeria, APC and PDP. We are limited to the choices they make to vote.
is that supposed to be?
Wait, I'm coming.
Yes.
If they do not come out with nice candidates, Nigeria will still continue the way it has been, or it may even be worse. Because the way Nigeria is now is damaged. Nigeria is completely damaged. Security, we are gone. Economically, we are finished. So, we need some
I would agree with this pessimistic position.
Okay.
Yeah, because even this, we know that there are security challenges in the country,
Yes.
but the security agencies are tackling it.
Yes.
Economic woes.
but
the president just appointed an economic advisor,
Yes,
a very
yes.
seasoned
Yes.
economist, my
Yes.
senior in economics.
That's right.
Yes. So,
Yes.
because just like Dr. Kuga has said, it is time for Nigerians to realize that we need economists to fix the country.
That's right.
Yes.
You know,
Okay.
And,
Yes.
and you know that in economics, when demand is equal to supply, what do you have? Stable price.
Yes.
But demand is never equal to supply. Forget about economic advisor.
Okay.
I'm not interested in all those things.
Yes.
I am interested in Buhari providing leadership.
Okay.
And that leadership, as a matter of fact, we have not seen in the past 7 years. Otherwise, the country wouldn't have been at this stage. So what we need in 2023 is leadership. We need a courageous man who is intellectually vigorous to drive this country
Yes.
to greatness. Because Nigeria has what it takes to be great. If Buhari has said that he's keeping to his chest the person he wants to succeed him, that is a non-issue, because it shouldn't have been that case. Because he wants to handpick and plant him there. It doesn't matter whether he is the type of person Nigeria needs.
He has not said so.
Yes. But let me tell you one thing, that Buhari is the one contesting this election. He will be on seat when the election is conducted. Buhari is not Jonathan. I want you to understand that one. Jonathan considered victory and accepted defeat. Buhari is going to sit down and make sure, perhaps, his dream comes true in installing whoever he thinks he has in his mind. So, what we are praying for is that the people's choice should emerge in 2023. But that people's choice should actually be one that is capable of changing the narrative, of reinventing Nigeria for greater glory, of giving us a sense of redemption. That is just what we need in 2023. And it should begin now. But let me tell you something about politicians. Politics starts the day elected officers are sworn in. These politics we are discussing now started 4 years ago or 3 years ago. When Nigerian is elected, the first thing he starts thinking for is next election. Whereas in advanced and civilized and developed countries, what they think of is generations yet unborn, what they will do for children and children's children. What we think of is ourselves and next election. And that is why when a contractor is giving road to construct, he pours asphalt, the first rain washes it off. All aspects of our life is that. It's like that. And that is a terrible thing that is happening to us. We need a patriotic Nigeria. We need somebody who understands the feelings of the people. That Nigerians have for long been subjected to sadistic ordeal. We need a Nigerian leader who, right from the onset, can take up this brush of his own imagination and begin to cast a masterpiece on the canvas of Nigerian history. We don't need theorists. We don't need people who, let me tell you.
Yes.
Let me digress.
Okay.
About 3 or 4 months from now, politicians will come visit the hospital and pay the bills of those who are sick. They'll start distributing rice, bags of rice. You know why election has come? Where have they been for the past 3 years? Is that what Nigeria needs? Nigeria needs roads infrastructure. They need electricity. They need healthcare delivery system. Let me also remind you something.
Yes.
When the president came from his first health tourism in United Kingdom, you know what he said? He said he envies the power of health technology in the advanced countries. That is coming from a president.
Yes.
Okay, if you so envy British health care system, what stops you from importing the technology and sending Nigeria to trade on the equipment that is used?
Are you catching cold?
No, I'm okay.
What stops you from doing that? What stops? When I was in secondary school,
yes,
Indians were in Nigeria teaching mathematics, biology, and physics.
Exactly. Even in my secondary school, I remember.
They were teaching physics, chemistry, biology.
We have Indians.
Do you know? You understand?
Yes.
Those Indians went back and built their healthcare system. Today, India has become
tourist attraction.
Tourist attraction.
Medical tourist attraction.
In the world. When are we starting? The president is praising United Kingdom for its healthcare delivery system. But you cannot build even one in Aso Rock. To the extent that your wife got angry with you. Where are we going to? So the truth is that so many things have collapsed.
But we must start from somewhere.
You said prayer. I am a Christian.
Yes.
To be specific, I'm a member of Christ Embassy. We know how to speak in tongues. But sometimes I feel disillusioned whether God is hearing our prayers. Because the more you pray, the more things begin to go wrong. The politicians who give guns to crooks, to thugs, to go and kill, when they win election, they come for Thanksgiving and sit on the front row of the church. And God is watching them. Our God must be very kind. Must be
God wants them to repent. Okay, thank you.
The hell will be very hot.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, let's get it. Well, my viewers, I hope you are enjoying this week's edition. It's the very first for this new year. We are looking at different areas, expectations for the political scene in 2022, because we're already postulating ahead of 2023. Before you know it, already we've gotten information that the poster of a particular individual is all over the place in the FCT.
Yes.
But we don't want to mention names. That's to tell you that there's going to be a lot of politicking this year. So many Nigerians are aware that 2022, after the celebration, after the New Year festivities, the next will be politicking. And that will so unfold. Well, Barrister Idogo, now, yes, Nigeria has had challenges, but we can't continue that way. The people must have a say. INEC has come out to say, yes, they are ready, that they can transmit results. So, what's the way forward for this country?
Well, like my learned senior discussed,
yes,
at length, you can't continue to be doing the same thing year in, year out and expect to suddenly get a different result. Nigeria has been maintaining one system of politicking over the years, and it has landed us where we are today. You have PhD holders without any decent job. You have first degree holders occupying highly exalted seats of public offices. What is the problem? When Nigeria was under colonial rule, life was not this difficult. Things were easier. Now, under a Nigerian citizen, life is becoming so difficult. The hunger level is extremely high, poverty level, elevated levels of insecurity everywhere. And we want to repeat the same thing again in 2023 and expect to now get a better result. It's not possible. We must go back to the drawing board. Why is it that political office holders, their pay is so much when you have many young able-bodied men jobless at home doing nothing? Every year graduates are turning out no form of employment. But when you look at the salary of a local government chairman or the president or the governor, the money they take home is so high.
But Mr. Dogo, can I interject before you continue? The President Buhari has also said in that interview, the recent interview, that Nigerians should not just believe that they can get government jobs after university education. So is it not telling the youths now that they have to think outside the box? Maybe vocational.
Let me respond to that question.
Okay.
Now, that is a good talk.
Yes.
That's a good talk.
Okay.
But Buhari is funny. You know why I said it's funny? Because for the youth to be able to engage in productive ventures,
yes,
there has to be an enabling environment. How enabling is the Nigerian environment? How conducive is Nigerian environment for the youth to profitably deploy their potentials,
okay,
which reside in them abundantly?
Okay.
Where is the electricity infrastructure? Because unless you get it right in electricity or power, you cannot think of investment. Where is the security architecture? Let me give you a personal experience. I traveled to Abuja last month on road. I just wanted to go on road. Listen to me. I spent 2 hours between Okbila and Okene. In the process, I misplaced one of my phones. The thing fell on a farm road at Okbila. I didn't know the other one was in the vehicle. When I was eating in Lokoja, my younger brother in Abuja called me. He said, "Your wife is crying." I said, why is my wife crying? He said, "Somebody called my wife called my phone, and somebody else answered that she found my phone on a farm road." My wife is a teacher. My wife ran from the classroom and sat at the middle of the field with her hands on her head. Other teachers went to meet her and said, "Madam, what is the problem?" He said, "My husband has been kidnapped." Because she couldn't imagine how
your phone should be on the farm road.
My phone should be on the farm road.
Why is supposed to be on the transit in the vehicle?
And because of what's happening
in her confusion, she even forgot to call my second number. She just concluded that I had been kidnapped. Okay, what has given rise to that? Yeah. I'm from Ekpoma, Anisha man. I'm afraid to travel as regular as I used to do. Why? Because the road is unsafe. When are we going to get it right? So under that circumstances,
yes,
what do you expect the youth to do? The enabling environment is not there. The incentives are not there. Did it have concession of the Constitution just now, which says unemployment benefits, even though it is unenforceable in the Constitution, it's not actionable. Should the government wait for something to be actionable before it can act?
Okay.
Don't they have conscience? Don't they have a sense of morality to know what to do?
Thank you, Mr. Ivaze. We'll come back to you. You know, Mr. Dogo was actually making comments.
Yes. You know, the interjection was to a kind of boast what she was saying.
Yes.
And let me add one thing.
Okay.
I met a very senior learned personnel.
Okay.
And he taught me something I never learned in the history of my life. He said, any politician who tell you I'm sorry has failed. He said, no politician will tell you they made a mistake, they are sorry. So I thought over this, and I come to discover, even when Buhari, the president of Federal Republic of Nigeria, said he cannot, that is, federal government cannot make available jobs to the youths, he has already told us.
No, he's not saying that. He's telling the youth that it's not just by university education or by education that you get government jobs.
That is just clear word. It's not indirect, it's direct. It's an evidence that he has told us his administration failed.
No, he didn't say so.
That is what he meant.
Has not failed.
He cannot tell you.
Youth must think outside the box.
Yes, Agbalaho.
Yes.
Youth must think outside the box. And the same youth is say, go and study, don't stay at home. The same youth to promise how many thousand jobs I think during a campaign, that's what I was saying here, that during campaign they will come back, they will tell us they have won this security challenge or whatever. The trouble in this Nigeria is much. The judiciary are contributing too much because people, they are the people who supposed to must have stand up and said, this is how it ought to be, but they are not talking. The security leaders that personnel, the head of security personnel are also the trouble. The members of the national and the state and national assembly are also part of this trouble we are into, because these are the people that are supposed to stand up and say, in the state, governor, you've not done it well. In the national, president, you've not done it well. We won't take this from you. But we are not seeing it here in Nigeria. If only they can stand up and be honest to themselves and stand on the truth of what they were asked to do,
yes,
you will see that things will begin to take its shape.
Okay, thank you, doctor. Thank you, doctor.
Finally,
yes,
if political parties will come up and said, it's not even you bringing your 1 billion, 2 billion to buy, what do you call it, form to be elected into a particular office, okay, things will work out well. INEC should check this area.
The issue of form.
Form
is too expensive. But you say that is making credible Nigerians not to offer themselves for service?
When you get that money, okay, are you going to thief? Where will you get that money? You as a person, tell me, how much is your salary? Tell me.
That is, I've never had like this.
And that reminds me, yes, what I wanted to say before.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
That our political system, especially the major political parties,
yes,
are built around individuals.
Yes.
They are not built around ideological convictions.
Okay.
They are not built around any ideas.
Okay.
They are built around
individuals.
Around individuals and around money bags.
That's right.
Money bags that have the capacity to run aground the vibrant ones in their midst.
Okay.
So what they do is they get nominated, they get elected, and make those who should have done better PAs.
That's another angle.
Yes,
to it.
And the PS cannot even
let me tell you,
yes,
in Scandinavian countries, the oldest president or prime minister is about 37 years. How old is Canada president? When are we going to stop this recycling oddity? It's an aberration in our democratic culture and evolution. Until we stop recycling the same people who have using stolen money to run this country aground and destroy this country, we can never get it right, because what they do is they are coming so that they cover their tracks. We need a new brand set of people. But unfortunately, those people cannot organize under another party because they don't have the resources.
But APGA is doing it in APGA did it in Anambra.
No, excuse me.
PDP did not win in Anambra. APC did not win in Anambra.
APGA has been taking control of states in the east.
Let me tell you something about APGA.
Yes.
APGA is a symbol of Igbo nationalism, and it cannot go beyond Anambra. We want a party that can transcend geopolitical boundaries and be a national champion. To liberate Nigerians, not to liberate Anambarians alone. That is Anambra. Anambra is just a symbol of Igbo nationalism and a tribute to Ojukwu. That is why APGA have been winning, and we continue to win in that state. But we
APGA win in other states, only that as soon as they won, they will jump.
Yes, and anyway, you know,
okay,
defection and political prostitution,
yes,
is a part of our political culture.
Yes.
Yeah, this year,
yes,
we are going to see a lot of defections. People that will not get nomination in their political party, they will
jump.
They will jump to the other party where they will get
nomination.
Then where lies your ideological convictions? Where lies your beliefs? Where lies your commitment to your former party?
Okay.
Opportunists.
Thank you. Barrister, you have your time now. We don't want the women to say that the men are oppressing the only woman we have in our midst. Okay, you have your time.
The reality is that when government says, okay, the youth, there's no job for you.
Yes.
Go and be self-dependent. The atmosphere is not conducive at all.
Okay.
The multiple modes of taxation is frightening. A youngster that just graduates is bedeviled. It's a plethora of challenges outside.
Yeah.
And then taxation is also there. Touting is also there. It makes it almost impossible for a young entrepreneur to succeed in Nigeria. And what is the result? You now have young children doing different kinds of economic crime because there is hunger, they need to eat, and human beings must survive one way or the other.
They want to meet up.
Government, we must go back to the drawing board. Nigeria as a country is not practicing a true federalism. If Nigeria were to practice true federalism the way it was decided by the white people, Nigeria will not be in this endemic state we are finding ourselves. Our democratic system of government is vitiated with many elements. And then even at the power level of government, there is no a separation of power. There's supposed to be separation of powers, checks and balances. But what is the situation? Yeah. Political holders are not accountable to anybody. Whatever happens, people look and there's nothing that can be done. That's why you have this kind of situation whereby we keep on recycling the same faces over and over again. And the result is where we have found ourselves today. A country that there is extreme hunger, extreme unemployment, extreme inflation, fears of fuel hike and all of that. Nigeria must go back to the drawing board. The mode of voting, starting from there, it should be all electronic. Old people have done, they have played their time. Even old people now can use their phones. Everybody vote online. Let's see the results. Those that cannot vote online, come to the drawing board and vote. Let's see the results directly. Let Nigerians have a say.
Okay, but don't you think the youths can also use their population power to change things this year?
You know the challenge in Nigeria.
Yes.
Nigeria appears to the world to be practicing a democratic system of government. But in reality, what happens at the end of the day is very different. A situation whereby a party imposes a candidate for people, we don't have a choice of who to vote for, and at the end of the day, whatever we see in government, we cannot challenge it. If you talk too much, you may even be in trouble. Checks and balances is very ineffective in this country. Think back when Nigeria was under colonialism, was life as difficult as it is today? That's my question.
Okay. You see, Nigeria is a graph.
Okay.
Where the graph keeps going up. It has never come down.
It has never come down, and it can never come down.
It keeps going up. It has refused to bend. Ordinary bend.
Yes.
Nigeria has refused to bend. It's going up and up. Things are getting harder and harder. We are practicing voodoo democracy.
According to Wole Soyinka,
yes, we are
Professor
practicing
Wole
voodoo
Soyinka.
democracy. You know where? We are supposed to have 3-tier system of government. Federal, state, and local government. The local governments are almost wiped out. The president signed an executive order authorizing autonomy for local governments. What happened?
States never practiced.
States refused. State government disobeyed the president.
They never take it.
Democratically elected local government chairmen are dismissed by governors with fiat. Nothing happens. You go to court, court reinstates this chairman, governors don't obey. The judiciary itself is compromised because it has also been messed up by the executive. So in a situation where the arms of government are not in checks and balances, democracy can never work. That was why I told you earlier that our institutions are so weak to sustain our democratic order, the kind of democracy we want to put in place.
Thank you, Mr. Sazua Iwaze. Wonderful contribution on today's program, but time is not our friend. Dr. Emeka, just a quick one. Quick closing remarks, quick one.
What else can I say?
Okay.
Nigerians think twice.
Okay. Thank you. Pastor Edogogo.
I want to say that there should be checks and balances of all the diverse institutions of government. They must be answerable to an institution.
Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed. My viewer, I hope you enjoyed this week's edition, the New Year edition of 60 Minutes Nigeria. If you did, keep a date with me. God willing, next week we'll be here again with different set of guests, and we'll be looking at another national issue on the current affairs program, 60 Minutes Nigeria. My name is Ego Sagbonao. Bye-bye.